Hi guys, got back to the pond this afternoon, thought I'd do a little video recording. We had a really cool day. Today is June 21st, I think. Let me see, what is today? Yep, Tuesday, the 21st of June. We were supposed to go do some work on Monday, but my friend she pulled a muscle in her back or something, and we didn't do a whole lot on Monday. We drove around and saw some of the damage and stuff, and there's videos that I'm going to try and get either today or tomorrow on the blog, and I'm going to send notification out on Facebook. So you guys that are on my Facebook, there'll be more videos on. I got 2 videos right now done, and I'll put them on, like I said, either today or tomorrow. And the first 2 are our trip down here, which was really interesting. Evidently, from what my friend said who lives down here, we took, if you care to get a map, we took Highway 59 through Iowa, and then we hit a little corner of Missouri, and we swung across to Falls City, Nebraska, and we picked up 159 and 59 through Kansas, and then we went all the way down through Kansas and over to Joplin. And they were trying to get a hold of me as we were coming in. We didn't get in until about 1-2 o'clock in the morning. They were trying to get a hold of me because apparently we were driving through tornadoes and baseball-sized hail, but the road we were on, we could see both storms on each side of us, one on each side, and we passed right in between them. So all we got was a little bit of rain, so it was not a big deal. You'll see that on the video. Then we went over today, and our friends were supposed to, we got 3 different groups here that have contacted us to volunteer. One's a government group, 2 of them are church groups. Obviously we'll volunteer with the church group one. So we got plenty of people to volunteer with and plenty of work to do here. But before we volunteer and do that, we need to clean up our friend's property, because their property has to be cleaned up by Friday. Otherwise, the city's going to start charging them. And if the city has to get their group to come in, it costs you money for that. And she doesn't have the money to pay the fees and the fines involved with that. So we went over there today, and they were supposed to meet us over there. And we ended up getting up reasonable time, and we got ready kind of fast, and we got over there before they did. And she called me and said, well, are you coming over there? And I said, well, we'll be over there in about an hour. Well, it only took us about 15 minutes, and then we were over there. So we were over there probably 45 minutes to an hour before she got there. And then she wanted me to call her husband and let him know when we got there. So I did that, and he was busy taking care of his animals that he's got on his mom's acreage. He's got some dogs and cats and animals, and he was busy taking care of them. And he said, well, as soon as I get this done, I'll come over and bring you some gloves and rakes and shovels, and we'll see what we can get done. And I said, okay, that's fine. So we told him we'd just pick up some stuff and start throwing it on their property by the curb, because it has to be out by the curb so that the workers that are coming through can pick it up and put it in their dump trucks. So we were over there about, I suppose, half an hour, and this couple pulls up in some kind of van, and they were talking to us, and they're associated with one of the groups that we want to be associated with. And they were talking to us about what we were doing and where we were from, and got our whole story about how, you know, we came down here on absolutely nothing, this kind of thing. And they're a religious group, and they were really pleased that we were down here helping and that we would like to join, and they thought that was all pretty cool. They got our whole story, and I guess my husband told them a little more than I did. I don't know what that conversation was, but whatever. So they gave us their card. They walked down the street. They took some more pictures, and then they went to their truck or their vehicle, and then they turned around and started coming back. And I thought, you know, this is really weird that they're coming back. So they walked back up, and the man walked over to my husband, and he handed him $100 in cash. And I looked at him really funny, and the wife was kind of shocked. She said, "Don't look so shocked. It's, you know," because I was shocked. She said, "Don't look so shocked. It's called a random act of kindness." And I looked at her kind of funny. I couldn't believe it, because this morning before we left the bus, we were down to our last 20 bucks. We had to get ice and a few things. Meals here are taken care of because there's a lot of volunteers that are handing out free meals and stuff, so we don't have to worry about food. But, you know, there's things like toothpaste, and, you know, it'd be nice to be able to wash some clothes, some things like that. And we just didn't have any more money. And ice is a couple bucks a bag, so, you know, it doesn't take long to go through $20 in ice and water and things like that. And I looked at her kind of funny. I was absolutely shocked that she handed him that money, or that he handed him that money. And she said, "Well, our youth group raised a bunch of money for us to bring down here, and we've been going through neighborhoods, and if we see volunteers and they tell us their story and stuff, and God moves us to give them money, we do." And she said, "We didn't know why we turned down this street. Evidently God was leading us to you, because really I and my husband were the only ones on that street doing anything at that time." And he said, "Well, this will tide you over till your husband gets his paycheck." So, and you know, earlier this morning I was talking about, well, I could go down to the pawn shop and pawn this and pawn that for a week or so till Bob gets his check. So I was telling him, I said, well, we might have to find a pawn shop, and you know, if we could take something down and get 50 bucks for it, you know, that's better than nothing, and we could get by on a week if we're careful. And 4 days ago on the way down here, Shelby fell down she fell off the steps. She hit the bus door, and I went to bend down to pick her up, and I pulled a muscle in my hip, in my back. So I've been kind of dealing with that for 4 days, and today, going out there and shoveling and raking debris, it got to where I couldn't handle it anymore. So we called the chiropractors up here, and we happened to find one for $40, but you know, we just didn't have the money for me to go do that. So when this couple appeared and gave us $100, you know, before we came here, God said, just go. And I told him I would like to, but the money I have is very little money, and I don't know how we're going to live when we get down there. And God said, you know what, if you just go, I'll take care of it. So we just went, and here he is taking care of it. He supplied us with a place to park the bus that has electricity. The people that own the house are very nice to us. They have dogs that they're kind of babysitting, and they've agreed to let our dogs run with their dogs while we're doing stuff and we're not here, and they've agreed to kind of keep an eye on them. They've let me use their wireless internet so I can get this stuff uploaded and share with you guys that are out there. All the groups here have been donating food and water, and now these people just come up and randomly give us $100. Man, God is a cool old dude, and I'm not even kidding. A little later in the day, we kept raking, and about 20 minutes later, another guy pulled up in an SUV, and he was affiliated with another church organization and asked us to join him. He joined their organization. He said, hey, you guys working here, if you want a free lunch, you go down to this place and they'll provide it for you. We're kind of affiliated with them. It was another church that's here in town. A lot of those people were from Indiana and Ohio. And he said, we're putting that on with a local church here, and you can go down and get free lunch as long as you're working, cleaning up stuff. If you need any snacks or anything, we'll bring them to you. If you can't stop what you're doing to come down, we'll deliver it to you. If you need anything, give me a call. He gave us his card with his phone number. So just let us know what you need. We'll supply it for you. He gave us a lot of information about some of the things that we needed to do here. When you're cleaning up, there's a certain way you have to do it. And he let us know all that information. Then, after my girlfriend got there, and her husband wasn't there yet, but she got there, this guy had left, and another van of people showed up. And they came over and talked to her and said, we're with such and such a church group out of Kansas. We have 18 people, and we really need to find some work to do. Will you let us clean your rubble up? Which was really cool, because they brought all their people over, and they did in 2 hours what would have took us 4 days. They completely cleaned up the yard. Everything's moved to where it's supposed to be. It's all divided properly. So the only thing we got left to do on our friend's house is to do the main floor. There's a couple walls that got to come down. You'll see that in the video. And then there's rubble on the floor that's all got to be cleaned off, so that it can be tarped over and sectioned off, and then there's no liability issues. Once that's done, then that'll be all done and nobody will be in trouble with the city or anywhere else. So I don't know what to say to you guys watching this, other than, you know, this has been the coolest experience. And the folks that stopped from, I think they were from Indiana or Illinois, and I'm sorry if I got that wrong because I don't remember. My husband did most of the talking. He's got the card. I apologize. But we are going to go on their website, and what they do is, I might even post a link to it here on YouTube, because what they do, they have a worldwide ministry, and they go to all places all over the world. The gentleman that was talking to us said he just got back from somewhere overseas. I don't remember where he said, but they were doing some relief work over there. And their organization does that. You volunteer for whatever you want, and then you get to go with a group or however they send you, and you get to do that. So I and Bob are seriously thinking about joining them, not necessarily on a full-time basis, but maybe a couple months out of the year would be cool, because God has given us our mission, and we need to do that. And their mission and our mission kind of overlap, which is kind of cool. So we can still volunteer and help them out too, and they appreciate any help they can get. And if I get the card away from my husband, I will post all that information on my site somewhere, on like links or comments or something. So if any of you guys are interested in maybe changing your life or changing lives for God, they wouldn't be a bad one to be involved with. If we do that, we can't take our dogs. So a couple months out of the year, the kids would have to watch our dogs, or maybe when the dogs pass away, we'd be able to do something like that. So I guess that's all I got to say for today. I and the husband are gonna get up and get moving again, and there's some friends of ours that have a pool. They wanted us to come and get in the, they have a jacuzzi and a pool, and they wanted us to come and get in the jacuzzi and the pool and relax a little bit, because I had a chiropractor's appointment today for that muscle, and it really does hurt. So we're gonna go take them up on that offer and have a little pizza party. And so from Bubbles and Mama Quacker and what was it, Duck Behind, Ducking, and Duck Down, keep treading water.